Hi friends, Season 8 is finally here and it's awesome. I'm going to get a look at Season 8 here today and show you everything that's new in Season 8. So let's jump straight in. I'll start by looking at some of the more general changes that have come in Apex Legends Season 8. Firstly, we have a new damage indicator in the HUD. This allows you to track how much damage you're doing throughout a game, and this should really help you for those of you tracking those damage badges, and especially those of you looking to get the 4K damage badge. You'll now be able to see how close you are during the game. Also, in terms of skins, they've introduced something really cool called lore blurbs. Basically, skins that represent an important part of a character's backstory. They've added a small blurb to describe the significance of each skin in the legend's life, which I think is really cool, and also something we've not seen before. So those are just a few general changes. Let's jump into the map changes. The biggest changes have come to King's Canyon, and to be honest, I think it makes it a better map. The map before, when Skulltown was destroyed, the map was just a bit too small, and it kind of made it hard to play on, but now we've got this new area that's opened up the map, and it's so much bigger, there's so much more space. Now the changes have mainly come in the northern area of King's Canyon. There is a new location called Crash Site, which has really opened up the map to create more space. This is the unplayable area that used to be mountain areas, and in this new space, we have some new buildings, and of course the remains of Fuse's ceremony ship, which now has some cool scaffolding around to give you some height in the grounds. This new site links to artillery, and we now finally have a back route out of artillery, which makes artillery more an area you can pass through now rather than getting stuck in. Also, that tunnel that links artillery to containment, you now have a route out of the tunnel if you find yourself in the middle of a tunnel between squads at either end of the tunnel. So this should really help with those awkward third-party situations you used to find yourself in. Moving on to Slum Lakes, we found Slum Lakes has been wiped off the map, caused by the flooding from the crash, and we now have Spotted Lakes. This is actually a really cool place to land. There are some really nice modern structures there. There is a massive dam in the middle, dividing the east and west areas, and I think this could be a really good place to hot drop and pick up some early kills. You also have the ability to get to Crash Site from the high points in Spotted Lakes as well, so there's some nice repositioning possibilities here. Linked to Spotted Lakes, we also have the Uncovered Bones area, which will take you towards Runoff and Airbase. This is quite a nice new addition. It gives you some cover as you're moving between the different locations. A few other new additions to look out for on the map. We've got these observation towers, so there are 4 dotted around the map, and you can actually use them to gain a high vantage point. Perfect for a sniper, or even the new 30-30 repeater. They're actually really cool. You can activate them so they get even taller and become a really high observation tower. And the other thing we've got to look out for are these explosive holds. They're kind of like loot bunkers, but the original loot bunkers that we had on King's Canyon have now been filled in, and instead you've got these loot holds. Basically, you can blow the doors open and get some decent loot inside. So those are the main points for the map changes. Now let's look at legend updates. Of course, we've got the new legend Fuse, but I'll do a separate video on Fuse where I'll go into some information and some tips on how to use Fuse in Apex Legends Season 8. My first impressions of Fuse though are that he's a really good offensive legend and his abilities could be a lot of fun to use, but keep a lookout for that video to hear a bit more about how to play well with Fuse. In terms of legend changes, there have been a few big nerfs. Wraith has had her hitbox nerfed. To be honest, it'll take a bit of time to see what effect this has on Wraith, but looking at the images, it definitely seems like she'll be a little easier to hit, as they've increased the size of her hitbox. On the dev stream, they said she now has a bigger hitbox than Lifeline, although she is still small and she has a low profile still, because they claim she will still be quite hard to hit compared to most legends. They also did say they will see if they can give her power back depending how her selection rate and win rate goes this season. So that potentially means we could see a buff to her tactical or even her ultimate. We'll have to wait and see for that one. Horizon is another legend that's had a big nerf. They've made it so her cooldown time doesn't start till after her tactical is finished. So this will create the effect of making it seem like it's taking longer between using her tacticals. In reality, it's about 4 seconds because her tactical lasts for 4 seconds. So you'll have to wait for those 4 seconds to finish before the cooldown timer actually starts again. I guess you could also say Caustic has had a nerf, but in reality I think this one's actually a positive change all round. Essentially his gas will disappear immediately as soon as he dies, which is actually a really positive change, and it kind of makes sense, right? And now let's cover the buffs, because Rampart and Octane have had some pretty big buffs. Rampart's tactical now has 45 HP, which means that could be a lot more useful, especially when you're deploying while being shot at. I should add though that sniper rounds can still pierce them, so do watch out for that. And also Sheila's angle has increased to 180 degrees from 120 degrees. Basically, you'll be able to turn around on the turret just a bit more, which again could be a lot more useful than it currently is. Octane's another legend that's had a pretty good buff this season, and the buff is to his jump pad. If you remember back before we got the double jump, you could do something called a super jump. Basically, as you hit the jump pad, you could press your jump button and it would give you a boost to your jump. And what they've done is they brought that super jump back, but also with a bit of a twist. So now you can do the same as the old super jump. If you run and hit the jump pad while vertical, and you time it right and hit your jump button as you do that, you'll get the old super jump effect. But they've also added a new mechanic. If you slide onto a jump pad, or even move onto it while crouching down, you'll have a lower travel arc than you would have if you were standing, but you also travel further horizontally. So this could be a really great way to change the way you use the jump pad, and also make it more unpredictable when you're using the jump pad. So this could be definitely a good buff. A few other buffs, we've had one to Mirage. His decoys now have footsteps. They actually mentioned it in the patch notes of the Fight Night event, but actually it turns out that was just a bamboozle. But now with Season 8 launching, we do have that release, so his decoys will now have footsteps. I should also add, they claim it won't be a tornado of footsteps, so it shouldn't be too overpowered or annoying. Loba has also had a bit of a buff. You can now loot from unopened care packages, and also see what's inside with her passive. Now personally, I would prefer a buff to her tactical, as I don't think this buff does much to make her top tier. It will be useful, and it'll probably be quite fun stealing from the care package, especially when other teams are moving towards it. But in terms of really making her a strong top tier legend, I really think her tactical needs to be improved, such as reducing the animation time, or increasing the distance it travels, to really make her top tier. Oh, and another small thing, you can't attach an arc star to Crypto's drone anymore. This was more of a tactical thing. To be honest, personally, I never actually tried it. And that's it for legend changes. Let's finish with weapon updates, because there are a few good ones. Of course, we've got the new weapon, the 30-30 repeater, and again, I will do a separate video giving you more facts and tips on how to use the 30-30 repeater. But as a quick overview, it's a heavy weapon that has the ability to charge its shots, and you want to use it kind of like a G7 Scout. But do keep a lookout for my video with more details and tips on how to use it, and that should be coming in the next day or so. Now in terms of fully kitted weapons, you'll find they've added the R301, the 30-30 repeater, the Mozambique, the Longbow, and the Spitfire as fully kitted weapons. And just a reminder, fully kitted weapons are those gold weapons you find on the map. Of course, that means they've removed the existing fully kitted weapons, so you won't find the gold Wingman, Sentinel, Havoc, G7, or Alternator anymore. In terms of accessories, they've actually removed the gold stabilizer, which to be honest, it was just a purple barrel stabilizer, but with reduced muzzle flash, so it shouldn't be too much of a loss. But in doing this, they have also introduced the gold magazine. It essentially auto-reloads your weapon that's in store. It takes about 5 seconds to reload, so it's not something you can instantly just switch back out and instantly have a reload. It does take some time to reload. In terms of hop-ups, they've removed the double tap, but they have brought back the Anvil receiver, which I'm actually super happy about. I'm a big fan of the Anvil receiver, and if you've got a fast trigger finger, the Anvil receiver can be really useful. Now for actual weapons, they've reduced the Volt damage from 16 to 15, so this will make the Volt slightly less effective, but we'll have to see how it plays out across the season. Having said that, for the Alternator, they've increased the damage, moving from 15 to 16 damage per bullet. This one could be quite powerful, and will make the Alternator just a little bit more useful. The Spitfire has also been rebalanced. Its bullet damage has been increased from 18 to 19, which I think will be very powerful, but in doing that they've sacrificed reload times, so they've increased the reload speed from 2.8 seconds to 3.2, and the empty reload speed has increased from 3.33 seconds to 3.8 seconds. So basically it's going to take longer to reload the gun, but it will do more damage per bullet. And that's it, friends. A full look at all of the great stuff we've had arrive in Apex Legends Season 8. My first experience of Apex Legends Season 8 so far is that it's a lot of fun. I really like the map changes to King's Canyon, and I really feel like it's a great map once again. I also like the new weapon a lot. I think I'll definitely be using it more. It might even take the place of the Hemlock in being one of the first weapons that I always pick up or switch to. Fuse is also a lot of fun. I'm going to play with him some more, and I'll do that tutorial video on Fuse, and I'll see how it goes. He's definitely going to be a lot of fun though, and I really like his tactical and ultimate. For now though, I hope you all enjoy Apex Legends Season 8. Don't forget to click that big red subscribe button if you haven't already. Come join my community of friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.